Hey guys, thanks for joining us back out here at the range. And this week is kind of a do-over from a couple of weeks ago. Maybe you guys saw a video that we posted last week about some of the problems that we were having with our brand new Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0 metal comp. That would be this gun. We took this to the range the day we picked it up, and our first 17-round magazine through it gave us 17 malfunctions in a row. What we found in the course of our investigation was that the compensator itself was rotating a little bit off center, and what was happening was it was catching up into the guide rod, and it wasn't allowing the slide to reciprocate all the way back, not throwing out the old shell and not having enough room to pick up the new one. So every time we fired it, a round would go off, but then it would jam up. You know, cap and rack every single time, 17 in a row. Now for a $1,000 gun, because that's what this is running, is $995. That's a little disheartening, especially when the gun's got every bell and whistle on it that you want out of a $1,000 gun, and it's a Smith & Wesson. You're kind of hoping the damn thing runs when you get it home. Well, turns out it wasn't. We had some issues. We tried correcting them at the range that night. We found out what the problem was. And after a while, we just wound up spinning off the compensator, putting the cap on it, and running rounds through it. We ran 115s and 124s through it. We had more success with the 124s than the 115s, especially with the compensator. This is tuned for 124. With the comp on it, it would run the 115s, but not really that great. It was just a weird series of events that was causing a lot of problems. We brought it back over to Point Blank where we picked it up. They ran it through, they cleaned it, tapped it. They said it wasn't torqued down properly. There was a couple of issues. Now, we have a remedy for preventing this from happening in the future that we may actually do to this gun to prevent it from happening in the future, because I can't stand the idea of having a Loctite, all kinds of crap on your gun, especially one that's designed to be able to throw a compensator on it or a suppressor. You want to be able to do that without having to sit there putting it in a bench vise and, you know, and breaking all that Loctite off of there. But this is 2.0. Get it? So tonight we're just going to run another couple of magazines through it. We know that the gun runs properly when it's running properly. We know that it runs accurately when it's running properly. But tonight we're actually going to try it with the compensator attached in the proper position to the proper torque specs, and we're going to see how well this handgun performs. It's, like I said, every bell and whistle. Suppressor height sights on it. It's got a removable plate. You can run different kind of optics. It comes with other plates on it. 5 interchangeable back straps. You get 4 magazines with it. You get 2 18-round magazines, and you get 2 22-round magazines through it. We have 1 of each tonight because, like I said, we've already fired the gun. We just wanted, but that was like our first shots video. It didn't present it in the best light. We want to give the gun a fair opportunity to show what it can do. So we're just going to run 2 magazines through it so you guys have an idea. I'm going to try and pull as accurate groups as I possibly can with this. Not that I'm going to be that successful, but we're going to give it a shot, and we're going to assess it. After 500 rounds through it, we've already got about 200 rounds through it now. We're going to start the clock over. Once we get another 500 rounds through it, we're going to give you an assessment as to whether or not we think it's worth $1,000 for you, or if there's something else that you could look for that, you know, in that ballpark that may perform a little bit better. So we're going to put some rounds downrange, see how it goes. All right, I got 2 targets downrange, got a camera looking over my shoulder. We're going to try and see how well this runs. We're going to run through, I think I got 15 rounds in the short magazine. We're going to run that through at the top target and see how well this performs. Then we're going to go through the 22 and see how it goes. So here goes nothing. All right, well, the first round's through. Ran a hell of a lot smoother than the first 15 rounds that we ran through this thing. Group isn't all that bad. Gonna run another 22 and see how it goes. It doesn't charge when you slam it home, so you gotta rack this thing. I'm gonna try and take my time, and I'm gonna go for the bottom target at this point. I wanna try and see if I can't tighten it up. That first string was just function. Now I'm just gonna try and get accurate. All right, now, the grouping isn't bad, but I'm not exactly where I want to be. My issue with the gun right now is my issue with the gun, and it's the height of the sights. The suppressor height sights, this is the only gun that I have that has them up that high. So where I'm aiming, my point of impact is a little bit higher. I'm at 25 feet, 21 feet right now. So my rounds are getting a little higher than I want them to be, but it's still a pretty decent group, and we'll bring the target back and we'll take a look at it. All right, now you can see the two groups that I put together. This was the first one with the 15 rounds through it. I had a couple of flyers. Like I said, I wanted to just check for functionality with it. My second group, it's a lot tighter than the first group was, but again, I'm not quite used to those suppressor height sights, and I don't have a red dot on this thing to, kind of balance it out a little bit. So I'm going to load it up again. I'm going to send this target back downrange. I'll put a fresh target on there. And I'm going to, now that I know where my sight picture versus my sight alignment is versus where the rounds are hitting, I'll see if I can't tighten it up any other bit. But as for now, the gun is doing what I wanted it to do 2 weeks ago, but it's doing it now. And that's running. So we're going to do this one more time, see how it goes. Now I'm going to compensate a little for my suppressor height sights. I'm going to bring my point of aim down a little bit, because before I was shooting up a little high. So right now I'm going to aim just a little bit lower and see if I can't compensate. All right, I brought my point of aim down and I can see that my target is a lot tighter. My grouping is a lot tighter. Now that was the 115s. It ran fine even though it's tuned for 124s. We're gonna run the 124s in the bottom target. We're gonna see how that goes. All right, we're clear. We're gonna bring that target back and take a look at it. I don't know if you caught it on the other camera angle or not, but I wound up having one round go right down my shirt. Just have enough of my shirt open for a round to find its way down there. All right, so here's that first cluster of 15. I think I actually had 17 in the magazine. I'm not sure. It's a nice tight group. I'm back a lot closer to where I wanted to be. My point of aim was right about here, and it put them where I wanted it to be. That's the 115s. The 124s, just a little bit higher than my point of aim where I wanted them to go, but I have a tighter group. So I think the gun is probably running a tighter group with hotter rounds in it, but I'm going to have to bring it down a little further because still up a little higher. But all in all, I'm very satisfied now. Now this gun is running the way I had hoped it would have run when I picked it up a couple of weeks ago. So at this point, we're going to call this one a wrap. If you want to check out the video, we'll have the link at the end of this one where you could see the malfunctions that we were having the last time. And we're going to come back with this thing in a couple of months with a 500 round review. We're going to put it in the hands of some other people, let them figure, see how they like it. It performs really well. Now, the trigger, I am going to mention the trigger again. All right, now as you can see, we are clear, we are empty. I'm going to do this left-handed so you can see it for the camera. The trigger, there's a lot of take-up in this trigger before you hit anything. Once you hit that wall, it breaks nice and clean. And when the reset, I don't know where it is. I have no idea where the reset is. It's not tactile. It's telling me it's short. If I let go of that trigger a little bit, it's still not there. I got to come right to about here. There it is. But there's no tactile sensation in the trigger on the reset at all. I found that when I was trying to run the gun fast the last time, I short stroked that trigger several times while I was running it. I was trying to figure out how short it was. It's all right. It should be 3/16, quarter inch. And I'm like, is it there? Go to squeeze, nothing. Smith & Wesson's got to do something about that trigger to make it a little bit more tactile because you don't feel it. Maybe I'm not the only person who notices it. Maybe it's just this gun. But I haven't had a gun do that to me yet where I really couldn't detect where the reset is. Now, I have no feeling in my left hand at all. I severed all the nerves in this hand years back, and I have very little feeling in it. So as a support hand, it's really not that useful. It does its job, but I don't have a lot of feeling in it. I'm using my left hand for the camera, but even in my right hand, which I have good sensitivity, I'm not detecting a reset. My Canics, my Berettas, even the Burst of Thunder, all have a really good feel to it on the reset. This gun, there's nothing there. I don't know why. That's just the nature of the beast, I guess. I'm going to see if that's a common complaint. And if it is, maybe Smith wants to address it, or maybe there's some sort of upgrade that shouldn't need to be done on a $1,000 gun. Just saying. All right. Frank from the Range Report. You guys be safe, shoot straight. Really appreciate you stopping by and watching my fat ass shoot some rounds off. If you want, please like, share, and of course, please subscribe to the channel. We want to grow this thing. We got a lot more videos coming out. We want to share them with everybody. And if you can, throw a comment in this section. I try to respond to everybody. All right? So you guys take care. Thanks for being here.